What's going on, guys? This is Phil with Night Owl Studios, and today I have a really cool pedal for you. It's the Maxon DS-830. Now, this thing is built like a freaking tank. I didn't know much about it, but it came in as a special request under one of my comments from @Freighter121. So he's been extremely supportive of this channel so far, and I figured, now's the time to do a special review for him on this thing, or at least a demo. So, a good friend of mine had this pedal. For years, I would see this thing, didn't think too much of it. We just never used it, and it seemed pretty simple, pretty stout. I know a lot of these Maxon pedals are pretty stout, and he had another delay pedal from Maxon in an enclosure like this. Can't remember the name of that one, but it sounded really cool, so I figured this would probably be the same. And I asked to borrow it, but he was out of town, so I ended up picking one up, and I got it really cheap. I got it for like $70. So like I said, it's a real neat pedal. We're gonna go through a couple sounds with this thing, just isolated guitar tracks, no drums, nothing like that. We'll play a couple song examples, and then we're just going to fiddle with the knobs and see what we get out of this thing. So again, I didn't know much about this pedal. I know they had a few series that came out, and I just assumed based on the color it would be some sort of tube screamer style pedal, but it's really not. It's got a really nice distortion to it, and it goes to a light overdrive to a heavy distortion. So it kind of feels to me and sounds kind of like a hybrid, right? So if you bring it low enough, you get that nice clean overdrive. If you bring it high enough, it'll get pretty distorted and get into some heavier territory. So again, without further ado, we're going to take this thing through its paces and see what we got. That's the Maxon DS-830. All right, thanks, guys. Okay, guys, I got everything set up to kind of isolate this thing. So I obviously have the pedal going into my 1965 Fender Pro Reverb, and out of that into my Universal Audio aux. And that one, I usually run a 212, kind of a D65 setting, but for this one, I'm actually using the 412 Super 80. So I have a 121 on it and a 57. And I have it slightly EQ, but I'm trying to capture as much of that pedal as I can. I know it's kind of hard depending on setup, speaker choice, etc., but hopefully this gives you an idea of what this thing sounds like. So right now I have everything at noon, the pedal is off, so here's my clean tone. Alright, now I'm going to turn on the pedal and let's see what we got. Again, everything at noon. So this thing sounds pretty good so far. I mean, like I said, everything at noon. It's got some pretty good bite to it. It wasn't what I expected when I originally got it. I expected it to be a little bit tamer all the way through the gain stages, but I mean, this thing sounds pretty good. So let's just start with the first knob. We'll mess with the gain. Then we'll mess with the other two settings, just bass and treble, and then obviously output for volume. I'm going to keep the volume where it is. So really you're just messing with three knobs. But what I found interesting, I played with the treble last night, and when you max it out, it almost gets this weird like mid-range character, so it sounds pretty cool. So let's start with the gain, then we'll mess with the bass so I can show you kind of the sweep on that. Same thing with the treble, and then we'll end this thing up. All right, guys, let's see what we got. Let's mess with the gain again. I'll do quarters, kind of like my other pedals. So I'll put that thing at about, what do you call that, 9 o'clock? I'll just ring out some chords so you can kind of hear it. Sounds pretty good, pretty smooth actually. Let's try to take it a little bit lower, see what this thing sounds like. thing actually sounds pretty good, lower gain. So I think next step, let's take this thing up a bit. So we'll go about, I'd say 3 o'clock and see what we got out of this thing. Pardon me, nighttime coffee. Oh boy, you can hear it. Starts to get saturated. Sounds pretty good. Let's max this thing out. I mean, yeah, it's a little too saturated. It's a little bit much, but it still sounds pretty good. Now, this thing's all the way maxed right now. I mean, yeah, it's pretty excessive, but still somewhat smooth-ish. So I'll bring this thing back to noon, and then we'll start messing with the bass. So I got everything at noon, like I said. Bass will go to 9 o'clock, see what we got. Just hit some chords. Oh yeah, that's noticeable right out of the gates. Let's go even lower. Let's cut it out completely. Back up to about 2 o'clock. Actually brings a little bit of volume in, right? A little bit of body to it. 3 o'clock. Yeah, that thing definitely has a lot of bass to it. Let's max it out and see what we got. See if we can pop these speakers. Okay, obviously too much, but there's a pretty wide sweep on the bass. Let's take treble. We're going to go treble to 9 o'clock. Treble all the way off. Again, pretty big sweep, kind of like the bass was. Like a volume drop too, which is kind of interesting, kind of cool. So there's definitely kind of sweeter spots in this thing, obviously. This is where it got interesting to me last night. Let's see if it can actually do the same thing. So we'll take it up to 2 o'clock. And then I want to say that 4, 5, 6 o'clock where it's maxed out, that's when it starts getting this weird, like, complete tonal shift. So I'll show you now. This thing is 2 o'clock. little bit more, 3 o'clock. Yeah, see, it gets kind of that mid character to it. Let's max it out, see what we got. Yeah, it's like a cock-to-wah sort of all the way at the end. So that 5 o'clock is a noticeable difference. Again, all the way maxed. And 2 o'clock. Usually like some Queens of the Stone Age kind of thing going on there. So again, let's do a couple settings with it. Let's turn that bass down. Treble up. So I found myself kind of using it in this area right here. For a lot of rhythm work. Maybe I'll cut the treble down a little bit if I'm doing some lead work, but yeah, but for that, I kind of use this for a lot of the rhythm stuff, at least what I was playing earlier. Kind of cool. So yeah, you can lower the gain a little bit, turn up the bass a hair, turn down the treble. This is kind of the other alternative way I was playing with this thing. So treble a little bit lower, bass a hair higher. Which worked pretty well on like a bridge pickup. Neck pickup, I had to lower the bass down considerably, but all in all, this is a really cool pedal. It's not what I expected. It's kind of a sleeper pedal, I guess, and I really, really like this thing. So, again, we'll put these things at noon. Click off the pedal, and let's wrap this video up. All right, thanks for joining, guys. All right, guys, what did you think? I thought this pedal was, again, pretty cool. It's a sleeper pedal. I didn't see too much about it. I know it was pretty cheap what I got it for, and again, it sounds great. I was really surprised again by the bass and treble controls on this thing. It really had this wide sweep. It affected the not only just the treble or the bass, it affected the frequencies with it too, and kind of the levels on it. So it was a lot more than I thought I would get. I thought I would just get, you know, your basic tone control setup. So again, it was pretty cool, great pedal. You can do blues style playing all the way up to some harder rock if you EQ this thing correctly, I'm sure with the right setup. Again, my amp is a Pro Reverb. It's a Fender, so it's probably a little flubby on the low end, but maybe some other ones are tighter. But other than that, I think it's a great pedal. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. And if there's anything you'd like to see, more or less, or any sort of pedals you want me to go through, I'd love to check them out. Other than that, please hit the like and subscribe button if you like what you saw, and we're going to come out with some more content. So I appreciate your time. Go have some fun, relax, and maybe play some guitar. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you.